Ladies and gentlemen, I've just discovered something about myself today. According to this game, 2:18 AM is my favourite time of day. Or could I simply not resist giving me the correct time again? I'll be honest, it's actually the incorrect time entirely. I completely inputted it by mistake, so that was unfortunate. After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 2:18 AM is. Let's use another slider to find out. Right. It's actually completely inaccurate. For some reason, my friggin' mouse cursor is not here. I don't know why that is. Can I select that, please? Hello? Okay, I'm just going to have to jump cut. Okay, I managed to click it. Here we go. It's completely inaccurate, mate. It's fine. Confirm. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. Who is even talking to me? I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. Well, good for you. It's good to collect data. Oh boy, you're harvesting all my data, are you? Sending it off to Davy Reed and headquarters? I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip a couple of new ones up. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Okay, well that might be something for a future episode. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, or 2, or whatever you want to call it. So, we've done 3 episodes of this so far, and we found some really interesting stuff. So the last couple of episodes, we were doing a lot with the bucket. I did the freedom ending, but with the bucket. I did the ending where you go to Stanley's apartment, but with the bucket. Essentially, the apartment ending was the same ending, just with the bucket instead of the mannequin wife. And apart from that, we did all the stuff with the little figlies, the little Stanley figurines. We did that. So now I think it's just a matter, really, of kind of going through the game and maybe looking for some of the original endings, but seeing if we can pick up the bucket as we go along with them and see how it changes it. So without further ado, we're going to throw ourselves back in. Begin. Let's see what we got. Now, I haven't actually decided I'm going to go for now, but we'll see. We can skip this because we've already seen that. Don't need to worry about it. Alright, so as you can see, the balloons are still there, so that's still the same, very much.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh yeah, we did do this one, didn't we?
To go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, we did the escape pod one with the bucket as well, didn't we? It's been a good few days since the last recording session.
How hard Stanley looked,
so
he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I'm trying to think. I've got to just remember which endings I've already done with the bucket. So I did the escape pod, I did the freedom ending, I did the apartment ending, so I've done those. Also, come to think of it, I wonder if you could get the bucket and then go out through the window, because that's a thing from the original Stanley Parable, isn't it? You go out through the window. Yeah, the bucket's here, so we could just pick it up, couldn't we? That's not changed over there, has it? No, it's still room 416. Right, bucket, please. Also, just keep an eye out for any input buttons, just in case we could end up getting the heaven ending. Wonder what would happen if you got the heaven ending whilst you had the bucket.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Right, let's try going out the window. So this is a bit tricky, because you've got to like stand on the chair and then get onto the desk. I think it's like you never mind, not like that. So you get like this. I can't remember exactly how this one works. Oh, there we go. Right, what happens if I take the bucket out of the window? Is it the same?
Yes.
The
bucket into Stanley's
it's different.
Ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
Your true self?
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of
Right.
the countless wars it witnessed.
Wow, really?
Desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay.
It's
If
ridiculous.
only it had been stronger. Of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done.
See, I knew there had to be
The
something
bucket
different.
wondered to
Oh,
itself, perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception.
what is this friggin'
This
music?
was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
What brow?
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations
Sorry, what?
as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults.
Bloody
I was
bucket
young
law.
back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket!
Why does Stanley sound like some sort of strange goblin?
Why are we even doing it?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power.
What?
Its fangs glistening like...
What is happening?
My God, Stanley.
What?
You did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power.
Okay, this is taking the piss out of
You would
fantasy
easily be
RPGs.
Overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go
Wait, is it gonna get rid of the
trifling with
bucket?
this nor the dark magic cast away
Oh,
inside
crap.
of it.
Oh, he's restarting. Wait, does that mean... No, that... did he get rid of it?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No, it's still there. It's still there. That's fine. You see, I was worried... Oh, but the barrier here has disappeared. There's an input button over there. Just get that. There we are. Turn that off. Right, hang on. There's another one we could potentially do if we pick up the bucket and we go back to Stanley's office. Because wasn't that an ending? If you just shut yourself in your office and don't go
Stanley
anywhere?
picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again.
Oh,
Not
wait.
truly alone. Not with the bucket around.
Is it going to let me back in? Ah, it's not going to let me back in. Never mind. No, actually, come to think of it, I think that ending with room 427 is if you just stand there when the game starts and don't do anything. Eventually the door closes on its own. Yeah, I don't think it happens if you just go out of it, does it? Right, what I'm kind of curious now is if we go for, like I say, another ending with the bucket. So, we could...
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
So what we could try doing, because we got the freedom ending, we could go left and just go as normal down to the mind control facility, and we could try taking over the controls and getting the nuclear ending and see how that changes, or we could go left and then go to the stairs and go down and get that ending with Mariella and all that, and see if anything changes there. We'll go left. We'll do that. We'll do one or the other, whichever one sort of takes my fancy. I'm sure there'll be differences.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
I don't think anything's changed in here by the looks of it. What about the broom closet?
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Right, hang on, just gonna stand around for a bit, because you never know with the bloody broom closet how many lines of dialogue he's actually got. Or is he just gonna say that? No stickers. Stickies? Got any more stickies for me, narrator? Alright, fine. I don't think there's anything else, unless I go back in now. Nah. Nothing. Alright, I think we'll go downstairs. We'll try this one.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Let's go do this, because I'm kind of curious to see how this one plays out when you've got the bucket.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
This seems fairly
Something occurred.
similar so far.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the
Oh
bucket.
no, here we go, here we go.
Am I crazy? He asked the bucket.
This is
The
different.
bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
Because you are crazy.
Strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone
The plot
else's
twist.
bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might
disappeared.
experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed the
Okay, here we go.
which was, of course, very
That's the
odd.
same-ish.
Now he felt himself floating off the
Ah.
ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it.
Okay, so it's sort of
Far
the
off in
same
distance
thing.
Now he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed
Oh,
forward
God,
from
there's
room
loads
to
of
room,
buckets.
passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Oh god, there's buckets everywhere.
Stanley, find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks.
Did
He
I?
knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming
Was it
from.
inside you all
The
along?
real
Oh my god, it was.
was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Oh. Mariella, are you coming in now? The body of a man who had stumbled through town with his bucket.
This is the story.
Yeah,
of a
well,
woman
maybe,
named
I don't know.
Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed.
She's got a bucket.
With comfort and security, and walked to her place of business. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had
It's
no
different,
bucket.
yeah.
Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. She thought to herself, my life kicks ass.
Wow, that's
Backflipped all the way to work.
damn. Backflip all the way to work. See, I told you it would be different. Everything's going to be different. We need to find all the default endings.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Just check for any input terminals. Okay, what we could do now is go and find the boss's office and go and do the nuclear ending, but with the bucket.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
What happens if I shut myself in here with the bucket? Because I don't think I did that last time, did I? Did I? Change?
Stanley took the bucket with him into
Yes.
the little hallway and closed the doors. This was their hideout. No one would ever find them here. Of course, no one would ever find them anyway because everyone was missing. But Stanley chose to ignore this fact and instead focus on how cool the hideout was. Just him and the bucket. Two renegade heroes against the world, inside their secret, undetectable hideout, here, next to room 417. What a treat.
Ah, yes. Our special den. See, told you. Knew there'd be something else there. Oh,
No, apparently not.
I think he always says that whenever you leave. Okay, left door.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, just thinking about it though, because obviously I'll have to do endings down the right as well. So, if we go through the left door, obviously we'll go down and do nuclear ending. Come to think of it, there's also the escape ending, isn't there, that takes you to the museum. That's actually two endings down the left door that actually we could try out. But also going down the right door, if we go through the meeting room, then through the door on the left, then down the elevator, that'll take us on the path to the confusion ending, won't it? and that'll be interesting to do with the bucket. Then there's also going through into the warehouse. So I did the thing. Yeah, I did the thing with the apartment, which is where you pick up the telephone. I could also try unplugging the phone. There's that, or taking the bucket to the red and blue doors and going through either or of those ones, or both of them. Okay, so yeah, I'm just mentally making a list of what we need to try. Basically, all the possibilities that we have outstanding at this stage. So we'll do that.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Yeah, some of the dialogue's starting to repeat a bit,
Coming to
but...
a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay, through here. Can we go into the executive bathroom? Yeah, we've been able to go into this quite a lot, actually, haven't we? Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the bosses suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. Indeed, yes. Yeah, we've been in there a few times. Wonder when that is going to open up. Need to pay attention for inputs. Oh, we can take the bucket into the elevator if we want to. Do we want to do that? Did we take the elevator? And he said elevator into the bucket into the elevator even. Come. Does anything change here? Nah, I don't think anything does. Nah, this is just a little Easter egg. Okay, let's go into the boss's office. We'll go down towards the nuclear ending.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
8.
At this point,
There we go.
Stanley was so
8.
absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
Oh no, I've already
Nor
noticed
in his
it.
bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
There we are.
But Stanley
Right, we do
guessed
that.
the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay, down towards the nuclear ending it is then. Down here, please. Bucket, with me. We're going to try and take power for ourselves this time. It probably will end the same way, just with different dialogue. But it's worth it, you know?
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Okay, here we go. Through to the mind control facility. So,
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
yeah, we'll come and do this one, probably after this one. Do the escape ending after the nuclear ending. Just to see what the deal is, you know?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Did they have the strength to find out? Nah, probably not. Well, no, they did, because we're doing it right now.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
How very dramatic. Right, get the elevator.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
I like that shot down there of just a couple of armchairs on 293. Alright, let's go.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it.
Into the bucket.
His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Let's do this. Time to friggin'
But here
take
was
down
proof.
the facility.
The heart of the operation.
Well, no, actually,
Control
activate
labeled
it.
with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way.
Yeah, I think he said
The
this
bucket
before.
made a sassy
Yeah.
comment about taking down the system.
No, we're not going to. We are the system now.
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in
He was
horror.
leading me
Had
on.
this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Oh,
Birds.
what?
Silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Okay, I knew something would change. Flying? Maybe you just press one? Oh, macaws. Parrots. Very colourful birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind control
Oh, yes.
was only a facade to disguise its
The true horror.
Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands. The one who
Damn,
had
that's a
pointed him
beak and a
toward
half.
this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, living through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Wow, this turned out way differently to how I thought it would. If only these birds knew, eh? If only their tiny little peanut brains could be aware that their imagery has been used in a Stanley Parable video game, and they have been referred to as the silly birds. Okay, that was great. I love that. I knew. This is why we got to go through all the old endings, because some of them have been really changed up when you take the bucket in there.
Gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, a bucket, please. Let me just check for... Oh, input. There we go. Right, we're going to go to the escape ending
Where
now.
are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Well, we're going to a museum, bucket. Assuming something doesn't change.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Don't you worry. We're going to get there. I would sort of jump cut here, but then again, I don't want too many files
No one was here.
on my
Stanley
Bandicam
needed
folder.
the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Thing is, it doesn't take long to actually get to where you need to be in this game. So you can, well, not speedrun, but you can get there fairly quick.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover
You're gonna give me new age
indication of
music?
any human life.
If I do this.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have, but Stanley guessed the
No,
correct
you're just
code
gonna
by sheer luck.
instantly do it.
Was it
Yeah,
the bucket knew all along?
that's fine.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Right, down. Let's go to the museum, bucket. Everybody loves a good museum trip. And again, how's it going to handle the big metal crushers? Unless that's different. Oh, it just started me here with the thing opening. That's good. Saves me having to go down the whole elevator shaft
Stanley
again.
and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Nope, we're going this way.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
But will we, though? That's the question.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
You know, probably every player who's ever done this on YouTube, but being told that the door is not shut, has probably just done what I did there. Instantly turned around.
Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
It's okay, Bucket. Our strength, together we shall persevere, and we shall be fine. Well, hopefully. And... okay. Is it the same? Or is it different? Well, this is the crushing machine. We still got the bucket here. Alright. Graphics definitely look a lot crisper down here, don't they? Right, go on, take us to the museum.
Inch closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Are we just going to die? Museum? Yeah.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Got me? Yes. There we go. See? Right. What's going to be different here, if anything?
It was
Let's have a look.
Shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
That's different. That's different. That's not the same. See, I told you. I always tell you something's going to change. Or maybe it is the museum, but it's just going to have like a completely different layout and maybe a different set of stuff. The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn out here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? Well, it depends on how great this museum is. Okay, this is completely different. See? I told you.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him?
Oh, the
Can you
tragedy.
see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Oh, going to heaven. Bucket into heaven and all that. There's nothing down there, no? Okay. Oh my god, that's a lot of buckets. 25 buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. I feel like there's way more than 25 in there, but the photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. Nice. What's this one over here before we go up there? A bucket with 2 handles. Oh my god, that's playing God, that is. This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Heresy! Good riddance to them. Right. Up here. Okay, this feels... oh no, I was about to say this feels like a much more linear museum, but maybe not. Inferno Bucket. A replica of the Inferno Bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains. No one can control a bucket. The Stress Bucket. Okay, yeah, maybe it is fairly linear. An analogy, worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance. Vulnerability equals size and strength of the bucket. Coping strategies equal holes. Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy, rest and relaxation. Nice. Presented without commentary. Oh my goodness, it's a bucket museum, folks. Oh my god, cave paintings of the bucket. Nice music. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. Okay, at least this is fairly linear.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Oh my, the buckets are going to take over. The hanging bucket. Oh, this piece symbolises the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good. Oh, do you want me to jump down into the hole? Because there wasn't really anywhere else to go, was there? It's just blocked off pathways. Okay, bit of a smaller museum, but it's a museum nonetheless. YOLO! Oh. Oh, Okay, never mind. I thought we were going to jump to our death in there, but... No. And do you take us now back to the Crusher?
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Okay, we're back here.
Let Stanley die.
Oh.
Let him be crushed by the machine.
This is different
Don't
to,
reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only...
Nah, let's let him die.
Together, the bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new
Oh.
world, a new vision.
Bonk. Now, does this just automatically reload the game eventually, or do we actually have to manually do it? Because I seem to remember this one you might have to manually do it. Oh no, there we go. It's doing it itself, that's fine. Hey, we're back in, there we go. Right, I need to check actually how long I've been recording for. 1 second everybody. Okay, I checked. We've been going for about 31 minutes, which is comparatively shorter to the other Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe episodes I've done so far. So you know what? We'll keep going for a bit.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, wait, where? Hang on a minute. That's not the same as it... What? It's going to the left this time. Oh, trippy. Wait. No, thank you. Don't do that to me. It's just a subtle little change like that suddenly made me freak out momentarily. Can I turn it off? There we go.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
Of course it is. Right, so we've done left-hand endings. Don't need to worry about that anymore. We're going to go down the right-hand route this time. I'm thinking we might do the confusion one, right?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Yes, it is.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Alright, let's just keep moving.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Right, lift. Let's go down here.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Nope. Right, we're going to go down here. I imagine something here will change. So let's see what it is.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you...
Okay, already that's different.
I knew you'd find
What?
this eventually.
Well, I mean, I was just expecting some kind of variation on the confusion ending. I wasn't expecting something completely different. But I'm good for it. There's a bloody adventure line.
And I are concerned for Stanley. We've come together here because we care.
It's an intervention. Everyone's here. It's the broom closet, the wife, the baby, the adventure line.
From the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the adventure line and the broom closet. Because that's what fans want.
Oh, you can actually go in?
They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it.
The serious room.
Don't you want another story involving the adventure line?
No.
We could make the adventure line go somewhere new. Yes, yes.
Oh.
That's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Alright, we're following the adventure line then, I guess. Sure. Okay, adventure line. Show me the way.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Hey, hey! Old favourite. Yes, this is more like it. Refactor, basic, small asset import. Nice. Look at all this. Oh, adventure line.
Now,
Oh,
this is what the Stanley
Hey.
Parable is all about.
Turn that
Don't
fucking
you
music
remember
back
all
on,
those
bitch.
Great jokes from the original dialogue.
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
nice.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Never. Put the music back on, please. Is anything hidden behind these very blank doors? A new whiteboard ending, maybe? No. Okay, up here then. Where are we going? Where are you taking me, adventure line? Descent into darkness. You're gonna make me give up the bucket. It's not gonna be good. It's funny how this whole game now has just become about me and a bucket, essentially. Alright, over here then.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character.
Ooh.
This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No. Alright, fine.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
I have no idea. Why don't you
need me to
elaborate?
spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Wait, is there a way to screw this up? Do I have to put it in, or is there a way I
Now
can
listen to
sabotage
me.
it?
It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket.
Well, let's
Destroying
find
buckets
out.
is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for.
Oh, I'm
after
definitely
this.
clamouring for that.
Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket.
Oh.
Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Wait, so could you feed the bucket to it? And would that... Never mind. We're not done yet.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend.
Oh, the
For
feels.
the long time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Wait, so, hang on. Can we do that ending again? Potentially? If we went back down the lift? Hold on. Hold your horses. We gotta see.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's now curving to this side. Very weird.
The embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
Is that music different, by the way? feels different, doesn't it?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Nah. Is he going to do the intervention again? Let's just see. I'm curious, I just want to see if we can go back to that bucket destroyer and actually destroy the bucket, and if that changes things.
Good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this.
Okay, so this is the same. Good.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's
or the
what
pencil
fans
sharpener.
want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line?
I'm ready.
We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Okay, so we get the music. Right, go on, let's get to the bucket destroyer again.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
I love how it sounds like he's playing it on a
It's as classic now as it was back
cassette.
then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Okay, bucket destroyer. You can have the bucket this time.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Cool.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore.
Okay, we just have to go through his dialogue again.
It also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out
Ooh.
character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
What happens if we press
Can you
these?
guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
Nothing.
Surely you don't
Okay.
need me to spell it out for you.
Insert bucket
Go
to
ahead now,
destroy.
Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket.
Oh.
And then pop it into the machine.
It looked at me. Oh wait, can I not put it in?
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
Can I not throw myself
I don't
in?
know what the bucket destroyer will do.
Oh, I think it's just the same. I don't think you can destroy
Destroying
it.
buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear
Come on.
you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters?
Okay, right, yeah. There was nothing different there. It was all just the same. So, yeah, in that case, nothing really new
All
to
of his
say there.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, well, tell you
No
what.
matter how
Nope.
hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Don't worry, old boy. Let me just do my outro, because I think we're going to wrap up here, because we did quite a bit of stuff there. We got a real sort of mix of old and quite new stuff, with new twists and things like that apply to it. So there was no real change with the bucket destroyer. You can't actually put the bucket into it. So that is just one ending, I guess, right there. So hope you'll join me, of course, for the next bonus episode when I get around to doing that. I'll probably actually, I don't know, I think I've got a bit of free time. I'll probably get doing it right now. Basically, in the next episode, we're going to go down the right door. We're going to go into the warehouse. And we're going to try and focus on the other endings that are down that route and take the bucket with us and see how they change. So I hope you'll join me for that. Facebook and Twitter links down below, along with the links to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. And if you enjoyed, I like to always appreciate and all that jazz. But other than that, this is General Red signing off. Goodbye all. Oh, God. Oh, he's seen me. Shit. I probably need to get close to him. Fuck. Oh, God. He's going to hit me and I'm not going to be able to hit him. Come on. Got him. There we go. Right, he's out. Whew. Okay, they are tough though, these robots, aren't they? Oh, hello. That is a 9mm submachine gun, which even unlocks spring powered. Nice. He's got more SMG rounds. Fantastic, okay. We haven't got a lot, have we? That's no good. Right. Is the way down over here? Probably. Oh boy, what a weird fucking location this is. I do love the aesthetic, it is good as well. Alright. Looks very much like some sort of weird cobbled together version of a Sten or a Sterling gun.